Hello everyone. Today we are going to move chapter 4 programming paradigms. In here I will explain about what means by program paradigms and some main types of programming paradigms: imperative, declarative, functional, procedural, object oriented and logic programming. Now let's see what are those. First of all, what is a paradigm? A paradigm is a pattern of something or a model. In programming concept, programming paradigm just different styles or ways of programming. Programming paradigms are different classifications of programming languages based on the way the programming is done. It means the way of writing the programs. There are different styles. Features of various programming languages determine which programming paradigms they belongs to. For example, according to the way the code organized or according to the implications to the execution model of the programming language, it means the sequence of the operations in execution, or according to the style of syntax and grammar, or there are many conditions for dividing the program paradigms. Some programming languages are falling into only one programming paradigm. We called it as single paradigm, and others are multiple paradigms. It means that one programming language can fall many paradigms. For example, assembly language is single paradigm because it's only falling into imperative programming, but Python is falling into object oriented programming, procedural programming and functional programming. So it is a multiple paradigm. There are many kinds of programming paradigms. Here we are going to talk about some of those: imperative programming, declarative programming, functional programming, procedural programming, object oriented programming and logic programming. Before we move into the more information about those, we will see what are the different programming languages that you want to know. As you all know, a programming language is a notation designed to connect instructions to a machine or a computer. Programming languages are mainly used to control the performance of a machine or to express the algorithms. At present, thousands of programming languages have been implemented. And Ada Lovelace has been called the first computer programmer. What she did was write the world's first machine algorithm for an early computing machine that exists only on a paper. She was a woman, and that happened in 1840s. In the 1940s, the first recognizable modern electrically powered computers were created. The limited speed and the memory capability forced programmers to write the hand-tuned assembly language programs. So the very first programming language is assembly. Before that, physical motions and the shared program techniques are used to communicate with the computers. And the first high-level programming language is Plan-Cacul. After that, Fortran, COBOL, Lisp, Algol, Pascal, C, C#, C++, Simula, Java and so many others come to the field. In here the slide you can see the most popular programming languages that the world is using today: Java, Python, C, Ruby, JavaScript, PHP, C#, C++, Visual Basic, Swift, Go language and Prolog. And there are many more languages exist today. They are using for various purposes. For example, JavaScript, PHP for web development especially, and Prolog for artificial intelligence implementations like that. You will learn more about those programming languages in future. Now just get an idea that these programming languages are existing. Then SQL, Structured Query Language. It is a database management language for relational databases. There are several database management systems which allow in the same SQL language in different ways. For example, I have given the logos of MySQL and SQL Server. Actually, SQL itself it is not a programming language, but it is stand allows creating procedural extensions for it, which extend it to the functionality of a mature programming language. Now let's see about programming paradigms that those programming languages are falling into. The first type is imperative programming. Imperative programming is one of the oldest programming paradigms. It features close relation to the machine architecture. In imperative programming, the program has a sequence of statements which can change state of the program. It means it performs step-by-step tasks by changing state. The programmer explicitly defines what the program should accomplish and how it should accomplish. For the real world example, imagine you walk into your favorite coffee shop and you would like to order some coffee. Then the imperative approach will be like enter the coffee shop, queue in the line and wait for the barista asking you for your order, then order, yes, for takeaway please, then pay. After that, present your loyalty card to collect the points and take your order and walk away. Like that, we want to clearly state what to do and how to do. First do this, next do that, like that. And some of the programming languages that are falling into imperative programming paradigm examples are C, Fortran, Basic and Algol. These are some of examples. There can be other programming languages that can fall into this category. The next paradigm is declarative programming. Declarative programming is when the programmer needs to define what the program should accomplish rather than explicitly defining how it should accomplish. It means the style of building the programs that express logic of the computation without talking about its control flow. In earlier imperative programming, we gave step-by-step approach, but in here we are only giving the final call. As the same example we talked in the imperative programming, imagine you walk into your favorite coffee shop and you would like to order some coffee. Then the declarative approach will be like a large iced coffee for takeaway please. So rather than providing a step-by-step instructions, you tell the system what you need and let it to come up with the solution. For examples, we can get the languages SQL and Prolog. In here I have given an example in SQL. If the programmer wants to fetch all the students belongs to University of California from the database, we can write a code like select all from students where university equal to UK. Here we do not want to specify how the program should get the students. We just give the what we want as a output. You will learn SQL in the another module. In here, just get the idea. Then the next paradigm is functional programming. This is essentially less complex and offers better readability than the imperative programming. In functional programming, all the executions are considered as series of mathematical functions. It means this paradigm has its roots in mathematics and it is language independent. The key principle is the execution of the series of mathematical functions. Mathematical function is a mapping from inputs to outputs. It means take an argument as the inputs and return the value as output. You can see the example in the slide. Fx equal to x multiplied by 2. It means you have to get the input values as x and have to give the fx according to the x values as the output. In here first x is equal to 1, then 1 multiplied by 2 equal 2. If x equal to 2, then 2 multiplied by 2, then it's equal to 4. Then if x equal to 3, 3 multiplied by 2, then it is 6. These mathematical functions cannot change their inputs. In here can't change any variable. It means at once we define the variable, we can't change that. We called it as immutability. It means unchangeable. In functional programming, there is no variable assignment. And some examples for the functional programming languages are Python, PHP, Erlang, Haskell, and Clojure. The next one is procedural programming. Procedural programming languages are solving problems in sequence of steps. There is no difference in between the procedure and the imperative programming. It has ability to reuse the code, and it was born at the time when it was in use because of its reusability. They use sequence, selection, and iteration control structures. They are very close to English language, and they are using procedures and the functions also. Procedural programming languages are known as top-down languages, and most of the early programming languages are procedural. For example, we can get Fortran, C, and COBOL. Object-oriented programming. In this programming paradigm, programming is based on classes and their instances called objects. In this framework, all real-world entities are represented by classes. For example, we can use a class to represent an employee of a company. A class has attributes and methods, and attributes are the data items related to the object. For example, according to the above mentioned employee class, name of the employee is an attribute. Then methods are blocks of programming statements which can manipulate the data items. According to the same example, a method which gives the name of the employee to the programmer. This paradigm can handle almost all kind of real life problems which are today in the scenario, and this gives the advantages of data security, inheritance, code reusability, flexible, and the abstraction also present. You will learn more about object-oriented programming in future. And so the examples of programming languages for these paradigms are Java, C#, C++, and many more languages are there. The first object-oriented programming language is Simula. Then the last paradigm is that we are discussing is logic programming. In this programming paradigm, we express the program as a set of mathematical logics in which the program statements express facts and rules about the problems within a system. Rules are written as a logical clauses with a head and a body. They follow a declarative rather than the imperative approach. Logical programming languages are useful when we cannot clearly define the computation using functions. For example, we can get the programming languages Prolog. Mostly we are using Prolog for logic programming in implementing artificial intelligence. Okay, I think now you have an idea about various programming languages and their programming paradigms. Up to today's lecture, we talked about the basic things that you want to know about programming, actually the introduction to programming. Now you have an idea what all of this about. From next lecture, we will move into the C programming. C is the best language for start the programming as a beginner. It is very easy, and we will discuss about theory as well as the practicals in a simple way. I have uploaded the PDF version of this slide, find that, and this time there is no worksheet. And if you have any question, you can email me. I have given my email address as usual in the first slide. Thank you.